You will have witnessed Margaret Thatcher in peril, obviously. Well, she resigned. John Major had a really difficult time. Ian Duncan Smith, you've analysed what it's like to be in a perilous political position. Do you see any parallels between what's happening in today's Conservative Party with what's gone before?
Well, I mean, of course I do. I mean, in the sense that the Conservative Party very often changes its leader and very often does so even in office. I mean, how often have we seen that? I'm not going to take a position of saying that the Prime Minister should go, and I've been rather surprised to hear people who are leaders of the Conservative Party saying that. And I'll tell you a reason why I think that's quite important. Boris Johnson has many attributes and qualities and many, many flaws. But he has won 4 elections, 2 to become mayor of London. London is virtually a socialist city, so this was an extraordinary achievement. Then he headed up the referendum campaign, which won, and then he won a majority of 80 seats. And I see people telling him that he should resign, that the Conservatives should get someone else. And these are people who, to my knowledge and memory, haven't won anything. I mean, they may have held on to safe seats, having been selected. But, you know, they've never won a national election. In the case of one of them, they didn't even win the leadership of the Conservative Party because nobody else stood. Nobody else wanted the job. So I certainly don't think it's my job to say the Conservative Party should find another leader. And I do think, you know, it's interesting, I do remember this film, and I do think it's interesting that lots of Conservative MPs seem to think they should change leader without having a clue who would take over and why that would be any better. And I do recall speaking to, I think it was Alan Clark, when the question of Margaret Thatcher's leadership came up. I think it was then, or it may have been John Major's. But anyway, I remember this expression. He said, let's just throw a grenade into the pond. In other words, he just wanted to blow the whole thing up and see what emerged from the situation. Well, that to me is just not responsible politics. But I think there are quite a lot of people in the Conservative Party today, and it happens again and again, who just want to throw a grenade in the pond. They have no idea whether, having got rid of Boris, things will be better or not. And why does this happen? One of the reasons is because the party consists now largely of people who are disappointed or unappointed or de-appointed. In other words, they didn't get into office or they've been thrown out of office. And this becomes a very large group of people. And what they think is, whoever is the Prime Minister after Boris Johnson, I have a better chance of being a junior minister and having a ministerial car and a red box under someone else. And that becomes a very powerful engine.
So last week, former Conservative Party leader Michael Howard, you were peers, he said he should go. You're being quite careful not to say that. Do you think that's right for people who are no longer elected politicians? Should they stay out of it?
It's not even particularly that. I mean, if it were Margaret Thatcher, she's no longer with us, but if it were someone who'd won 3 general elections, saying, I think this person should go because they're not good enough, I could just about understand it. But people who've won nothing, telling someone who's won 4 general elections that he should go, I find that very difficult to deal with.